Hey, ciao, Kyle from Tippecanoe Herbs and Root Radical Herbal Academy. Out here today, walking with my dog Diddley through the woods. And today is cold. It's March 31st, 2025. It's 35 degrees outside. Pretty typical cold springtime. And I wanted to jump on here because as I'm walking through this woods, as you can see, we're a week past the equinox, but as we're walking through the woods, man, there's nothing green. What? Nothing. Come on, Kyle. There's something that's green. We got some green moss here. Yeah, there's some other stuff too. That's what I wanted to tell you about. There's this plant. You want to smell it? This is this is Motherwort, Leonuris cardiaca. And the reason why I think it's really interesting, the reason why I wanted to jump on and tell you about it is because this has been green since January. It's kind of been here. And there's another little patch over here you can see growing from last year's stalks. And the only other plants that are kind of competing with it in terms of producing chlorophyll right now are much, much, much smaller in comparison. And this is garlic mustard. This is just garlic mustard. There's garlic mustard everywhere. And here and there, I'll find some onions. It's really typical in the springtime for nature, the creation, to provide us with plants that will be warming and moving that cold obstructions of the elements of winter and spring, which is like, from the Ayurvedic tradition, we can say this is the time of year of kapha, which is earth and water, and like certainly all around it's like mud. It's like earth and water, really earthy and watery right now. The old Vitalist, Samuel Thompson's Vitalism, talks a lot about just this philosophy of ensuring the movement and the balance of the vital flow of energy. And you do that by warming up the body. You do that by relaxing the tensions that inhibit that circulation of warming, and then melting away the solid, what I guess you could call cold obstructions, which he called canker. And which I guess we could say today, in maybe more modern terms, and putting it into an example that we could use would be like phlegm in the lungs. And of course, like this time of year, a lot of people get really phlegmy. It's just this. It's the same idea. So I would describe plants like garlic and onions, garlic, mustard, and onions, wild onions that are pulling up, and wild leeks, as in my tissue dynamic model, which is something I've been introducing, as having the forces of centrifugal energy, which is moving away from the center in a spiral motion, and also discharge. And discharge is something we could say like, oh, there's something that was asleep, it was charging up, it was resting, and now it's time for that energy to be spent. And that is also just seen in general in springtime. You can hear all the birds chirping, there's woodpeckers pecking, things are just discharging from the winter. Well, all of that is just theoretical until you get down with the plants, and everybody's had the experience of being of having the onions invoke that drawing nature, that centrifugal meltingness of the fluids of their body when you walk into a room and you get too close to somebody who's chopping onions, and it draws the tears out of you. Well, so everybody knows that. Everybody has had that experience. And then, of course, if you taste the wild onions and you taste the garlic mustard, it also invokes that. And in particular, the tissues of the lungs, and then like the chest and everything like that. So my dog wants to pull me this way, but there's no more Motherwort that way. Let's go back this way, buddy. What makes Motherwort different is that it is not at all stimulating in flavor to the circulation or to the fluids of the body. It's the opposite. In fact, all those other plants, I would say, because they have that stimulating power, that also is something that harmonizes them to have the power to come up and be the first things that move through the cold soil. And I mean, that's the way I think of it. So what the heck gives Motherwort that power? If I taste it, if I taste this little leaf here, would I expect that it's going to have some sort of stimulating, warming sensation in my mouth? It's so bitter. It's so refrigeratingly bitter that it almost sends a little shiver down my spine to jostle my parasympathetic and sympathetic, the oceans between, the space between those two oceans, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And in doing so, it actually puts me more into my parasympathetic state. Gosh, I love looking at Motherwort and the signatures of Motherwort and teaching about it. Okay, so here we have last year's stock. This is a member of the mint family, so you can see the square stalk, I hope. I'm just kind of holding my camera here. You can see the square stalk. And where you can see where the plant put 2 leaves out here, 2 stems out here, and then on the other side, alternate. So it's got balance. It's got, it's got this dynamic balance element here. And then also, one of the most important signatures of Motherwort is the rhythm. And you can see where each one of these little balls here, this is where the seeds were, this is where the flowers were, and this is also the bass drum. Pa-pum, 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 pa-pum. This is that rhythmic signature. So that's why we call it, botanically, the binomial name, Leonuris cardiaca. It's definitely got a association with the heart. And then Leo, Nuris, tail. This looks like a tail kind of. Leo is the area of the body that rules the heart. Definitely. So we have Leo, the heart of the lion, the tribe of Judah. All of that has to do with this power of the heart, and the heart as a spiralizing vortex in support of the information of our circulation. Heart isn't a pump. That's just absolutely absurd. But it is spiralizing the blood, and this can help it. So what gives then? What's going on? Well, let me explain a little bit more about Motherwort. I call it time out of mind plant. And one of the reasons why I do that is because when somebody's in a different time in their mind, it can have a physiological effect. I'm thinking about the things in the future. Oh, blah, 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 all the things I got to get done. Trying to get to sleep, but I got to think about this, got to think about that. And the circulation can respond, the blood pressure can respond. And in particular with Motherwort, it has a lot to do with the past, and the elements of grief and how they manifest into the heart, in the present moment of the heart, which is, gosh, I wish I could have said something. I wish I could have did something. What if I would have did this? What if I would have did that? And putting us out of the present moment from what could have been, what should have been. And there's a lot of grief that's involved with that. And so what Motherwort does, when we taste Motherwort, is it says, I'm so freaking bitter. I'm so freaking bitter. No. Hold on. Let me think about something else. Hold on. Let me think about something else. Let me think about something else. I can't. All I could think about is this present moment because the bitterness is just so overwhelming. It really does, boom, lock us into the present because of its flavor. But in doing so, it expands that area, that expands that space of the heart, and allows us the capacity to have more awareness of the present moment. So that grief and all that could have and all that should have and all that could be or should be can be felt. And you got to feel it to heal it. Got to feel it to heal it. And so it's like, take the motherwort, let it run through you, let that space open up. That space is the spiral. That space is the vortex. And in the tissue dynamics of centripetal, moving energy inwards into the center, and centrifugal, it embodies both. It takes this, and you can see it. Here's the signature right here. The signature is the radial lines that emanate from this. This is a mint family plant, but a lot of unlike a lot of other mint family plants, it's got this what looks like a center of the leaf, and all of this energy moving outwards. Or if you want to perceive it the other direction, it's moving inwards. Sorry if I didn't show you that very well. But here, I'm going to turn this around here. Point to it. So it's kind of like the center of the leaf and all of that energy moving outwards or moving in. Kind of has that face of the green man look to it as well, doesn't it? Green man returns. Green man returns where? To the heart. The heart is the green. That's the present moment. It brings more space and life and circulation of that spiritual, emotional, mental, vital energy to the heart, and thus allows us to radiate our green, our love, our heart, our tribe of Judah claims of expansion, connection with divinity outwards for others, and break the cycles of grief and pain, and break the cycles of living from places of pain in the past, or places of lack consciousness of what could the future be like. Motherwort does that. And so I think it's really beautiful and profound that it's the top green right now. And then, I mean, as everything else wakes up, it kind of won't be, take a back seat to all the other green that's going on here. And eventually it'll get little tiny flowers that are not that easy to see. And so I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool that it's kind of outperforming going under the barbed wire here. It's outperforming all of the warming stimulants that have almost a claim on the landscape typically because of their ability to warm within and warm without. And there's Motherwort, and it's just radiating the love of the heart. It's radiating the present moment. It's radiating that green love energy. And so it's a little herb walk from the woods about Motherwort. Thanks so much for joining me and Diddley as we walk around and pick our ticks off later. And from the bitterness of Motherwort to the tears of onions. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day. Ciao for now.